Hey ladies and gentlemen, what's up, what's up, how's it going? Bringing you guys another story time with myself. A lot of people actually enjoyed the last one of where I got high for the first time. You guys can actually check that out right above us. And so I decided I'll do another one, you know. It was a pretty great outcome. This one, however, is going to be about starting high school for the first time. I know it's a little late in the year for that, and it probably would do me a little bit more justice for those coming into high school for the first time to want to check it out and things like that. But maybe you had some experiences or things you didn't really like. Well, trust me, there's a lot that I had to change. So we'll get into that. Not to distract you guys from the story, but this is actually a brand new map from the new DLC that just came out today. And I haven't done it yet. I've done some of the maps. I actually just did a video for the Der Eisendrachen zombies, whatever. You guys can actually check that out up here as well. But getting back to the story. So, starting high school. When I started high school for the first time, it kind of went like this. I had gone to the same middle school for about 2 years. 6th and 7th grade, I had my friends there, I had my thing there, but I really did not like middle school. I hated it. And then when I transferred over to my next school in 8th grade, that was even worse because I didn't know anybody and they were just all randoms to me. So going into high school, I was happy because all the people that I knew back then were coming to my high school because it was like the biggest high school. You know, it's the biggest high school in the area. It's where everybody would go to high school if they had to. You know, if they were within like 100 miles of each other, they would all go to the same high school. It was a huge high school. It's like 3,000 people. So, I was happy about that. I wanted to get in that school. I wasn't actually in the current zone for it, but I got offered a dual enrollment thing. If I were to take aerospace engineering all 4 years as a elective, then they would allow me to go. So I was like, absolutely, why not? I love aerospace engineering. It'll give me college credits. I've always wanted to do dual enrollment, and I get to go to my favorite high school. So went there. We were getting prepared for it again already. I did not know what to expect, and the first day, I know everybody's first day of high school was insane. Obviously, it was insane, and one of the scariest moments of your life is your first time getting into high school. Obviously, and a lot of you guys would understand, feel the same way as me. Is when the day before when you first wake up in the morning, you're excited. You're like getting on your clothes, you're getting all ready to go. You're like, alright, this is going to be awesome. You step in the car or get on the bus or whatever, and instantly you're like, oh god, I can't do this. And then, I had second thoughts, third thoughts, fourth thoughts, and I was like, oh, I can't do this. I got to get out of here. I got to go. And, we pulled up at the school. My mom actually drove me for the first day, and she was like, well, go ahead, get out of the car, have a great day, you're going to be fine and everything. And I'm sitting there, like, shivering. I'm like, I don't know, this is not really, I wasn't expecting this. There's so many kids who walk in. Some of these kids have beards and stuff. They have, muscles like a grown man. Some of the females are, look like models. It's crazy. It's a step up from where I was before, and I was like, oh man, what the heck happened? I was so nervous. But, I got stepped in, and I think on the first day of school, because I remember a lot of kids like to match, and I remember the first day of school, the first thing I wore was some purple high-top shoes. I don't know why, but I wore some purple high-top shoes, plaid purple shorts, and then some purple shirt. I literally wore purple from top to bottom. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Some people like to match, but I overmatched it. Oh my goodness, it was awful. But I showed up to school, I was walking in, I didn't really see anybody I knew. Didn't expect to see anybody I knew, because I didn't have classes with anybody from my previous schools or anything. But I kind of just went with the flow. Walked to the class that I needed to go to. Obviously, I went to the open house before, and that went pretty well. It didn't go badly or anything. So I was walking in, just a huge campus, trying to find my class, trying to just look around and be like, okay. And the first thing that happens is a dean walks up to me in the morning, and the dean was like, excuse me, sir, you have to tuck your shirt in, because obviously we have minor uniforms, so you have to wear a collared shirt and you have to tuck your shirt in, but nobody follows that, those rules, obviously. And if you guys are still in high school now, you probably know what I'm talking about. Kids just wear whatever they want, unless you go to a really strict school. But I was not a troublemaker. I was not trying to make a bad impression for my first day or anything. So I tucked my shirt in and started walking around. I was nervous as hell. There was kids everywhere. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, you know what? I can't wait for the bell to ring so I can go sit down on my seat and be quiet. And, it seemed like the 20 minutes it took for the bell to ring. Huh. It seemed like the 20 minutes it took for the bell to ring, I was sitting there for an hour, counting the time, sitting and just like, oh god. And, when I walked to my first class and sat down, I was really excited. I wasn't nervous anymore. I was excited because all the kids around me were freshmen. They were all quiet and not trying to make a peep. And we were all just sitting there. And that class went by pretty well. Then, came the next class. The next class was actually the class that would define my high school life forever. It was my English 1 class, English 1 honors. And I was like, I don't know. I had some friends from that class, but what happened was, I walked into class, and everybody was quiet. Everybody was silent. Nobody wanted to say anything. Everybody was like, let's all just be quiet, because we were freshmen. We didn't want to do anything. We didn't want to say anything. And walk in, and I see one of my friends, and I'm like, oh, what's up? And for some reason, everybody in the class started busting out laughing because nobody said anything. So it sounded so much louder than it actually was. And, Jesus. It sounded so much louder than it actually was, and everybody's like, just busting out laughing. And, they thought it was so funny. They thought it was genius for some reason. And I'm just going with the flow. I'm like, I'm happy to be of assistance. And that really cooled me off. That didn't made it so the scenario was not bad at me for any reason. Like, I just felt at peace for that little minute. And I sat down with him. We were kind of talking a little bit. I was like, oh, thank God I know somebody. And, the kids around me were all talkative. The teacher was super, super nice. And instead of wanting us to, like, get ready for the class, she wanted us to get ready to go ahead and, start being friendly to each other. She wanted to have a little family. And I was like, all right. So we all started being friends and talking. And she wanted us to, like, for the first that class period, which is, we had 4 classes a day, 3 switched every other day, about an hour and a half per class. She wanted us to spend that hour and a half talking, getting to know everybody, and we did. And the kids, like, there were 4 kids behind me that all sat together, sat with me, and none of us knew each other except for the kid next to me. And myself, obviously, but all of us were talking and hanging out, and we were just getting to know each other instantly. We were talking about video games, obviously, talking about different things. I was kind of getting into basketball at the time, so me and some other kid were just, kind of talking about basketball, and I loved that class. And keep in mind that the class before this was actually gym class, it was gym class. It was Hope. Is what they take here. I don't know what it is called in any other place, but that class had a ton of people, and it wasn't in the gym the first, like, half the time you'd be spending in the classroom, so that kind of blowed. But this class was way better. This class was so much nicer. Had a way cooler vibe to it. And when the bell rang, I was pissed. I was mad. I was like, oh no. And lunch was after that. Lunch was probably the hardest part for me. Because I didn't know anybody. And I didn't know where those kids were going. So I just walked out and kind of, minded my own business and sat for a few minutes, saw if, I would know anybody. Nobody showed up. Waited a few more minutes. Nobody showed up. And then the bell rang. Didn't get any lunch. Didn't know anybody because the lines were so long you could never get lunch unless you jumped in them quick. So I sat there and kind of wasted time. Ended up not getting lunch. I guess I was so nervous that I didn't really care though. And then the last period of the day, again, half the kids that were in my fourth period, or the period that I was so relaxed in, all of those kids, like half of them were in that one. Really? And I was so happy about that. I was like, okay, this is awesome. I love this. Everybody here is so cool. Oh God. I apologize. This is not a good game. This is my first time ever using this map. But yeah, getting back to the story. So we were all just kind of hanging out again. The teacher was super nice, and we were all getting along, enjoying the day. And the day ended. We talked a lot, and it was so much fun. It was so crazy, yet still so fun, And we just, I felt so confident. I was like, I just finished my first day of high school, and it went well. And then, my other classes, my opposite day classes, were always so much more difficult. I don't know why, but my opposite class, my even classes, which were the days that I had first, those classes were pretty simple. They were not bad, because they were all electives. Whereas my odd days, those were all like math and science and everything. And I had difficult classes for those. I had all the honors and things like that, so that wasn't fun. I was quiet for those. It was about the third day that at lunch, this 6'10" kid, out of nowhere walks up to me, and he doesn't have any friends either. Tall, skinny, white kid, just doing his business. And he walks up to me. He's like, "Hey man, can I sit down with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I was happy. Somebody wanted to sit down next to me. I asked him what his name was. His name was Zach, and he was a pretty cool kid. And we just started becoming friends and doing some things. And we go get lunch and go laugh and we'll play around, talk about girls, obviously. And I started to have some friends. And then me and Zach would walk over to the friends that I had in those other classes, the bulk of friends. And we would all have a ton of fun, do a ton of things. And school started to be less awkward for me. I did, obviously put myself in a lot of dumb situations because I was freshman, I was immature, and, that was a big, big issue. But, I went from being super nervous to super excited, and every day was awesome. It was really my first experience being able to talk to girls where, middle school I couldn't really talk to girls. High school I could talk to girls a little bit better, and, that eventually increased to the point where I have no self-esteem issues. I had a ton of self-esteem issues coming in to high school, but now, all that's faded away just by virtue of there being more people. And high school ended up being a lot better. There was crazy days. We would throw stuff across the cafeteria, ended up getting in trouble. What ended up actually really, really happening that hurt me for the entirety of high school, really, I would slack so bad freshman year because I did not have any plans on anything. I was the kid who just, for some reason, assumed that it was okay to go ahead and slack and, not turn in homework, not do this, not do that, because it didn't matter. And boy, was I wrong, because I ended that year with, a Sorry, excuse me. A 1.6 GPA. 1.6. Now that's awful. That is very, very, very bad. And that's failing. I spent the rest of my high school career trying to build it back up to a 3 or higher. Only because I didn't really pay attention. I thought that it was just going to come to me easily. Little did I know that in middle school, if you're smart, the easy busy work is just out the window. Whereas in high school, there's a lot less busy work and a lot more actual, put your mind to it work. So that was crazy for me. But that's basically my story of the first year in high school. My freshman year coming in. Being a freshman, and majority my first day of high school, and how it led into this. And that's my story. I have a ton of crazy stories, trust me. I mean, this is a story that everybody can relate to. There's a lot of stories that people are going to relate to. I have a ton of crazy stories I can get out to you guys. If you'd like to hear them, let me know. This is going to be a weekly thing. If there's some stories you want to ask me about, or some things you want to ask me about, leave them down in the comments below. I will be happy to talk about them for you guys. Don't forget to leave feedback, comments, subscribes, whatever. I want to keep putting these out there for you guys because it allows me to just play the game and talk. One of my favorite things to do is talk, and sometimes I get really distracted, and this is one of the only times when I can be distracted and not talk about the game and talk about experiences, and you guys will still listen. So thank you guys so much for watching. And without further ado, stay classy. Peace out.